Hey guys! Oh, wow. You want me to put out the incense? On you. Oof. I'll put it out. A bit gassy. So I have this really beautiful video for you guys to watch, but you have to read it. It might takes a little bit of effort to read it. So I'm going to put it on now. I'll just wait a few more moments for more people to come. Otherwise I'll start reading it halfway through it. Okay, here it is. It's very beautiful. Enjoy. So hi guys, welcome to live stream. If this is the first time you've ever been on live stream, then the way that you ask questions is you write in Skype, and you can find my Skype address in the box below. It's Lisa Cairns 12. And if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get emails when I go live, this is how you do it. You first of all type in YouTube. You have to have a YouTube account, and then you type in my name into YouTube. You go to my channel, and then you press subscribe, but you also have to press the little bell next to the subscribe button and tick send notifications, and then you'll get notifications of when I go live. If you want to subscribe to my website, then you go to www.lisacairns.com. And it should just come up on the first page. So you just put it in, see, there it is. Just put in your email, and then you get updated of my blogs and events. I have quite a few events coming up. I shall just read them out. So, okay, on the 18th of August, I have an evening talk in London. On the 26th of August, I have a talk in Totnes, England. On the 2nd of September, on the 2nd and the 3rd of September, which is a weekend, I do talks in Germany, Berlin. Then on the 29th of September, I do talks in Barcelona, Spain. The 29th, 30th and 1st of October. I also have a retreat in Spain in November. I'll put that on my website soon. I'm just working out the last details of it. I also have a very sweet little video for you guys to watch while people log in. It's just a little funny video. Just to get you in the right humour.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Oh. Oh, my God. What is that? You just ate bananas and milk, man. That's all you ate. Oh. 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 Dude. What? What is that? Oh. Holy. That's not fair. What in God's name is that, man? How is that even possible? I just ruined 2 diapers, I think. Oh my God, I can't even look at this. Dude! How did it go from... Oh. Oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Honey! Oh. Pull it together. Oh, Jesus! Oh. Oh, God. Don't get it. Oh. Whoa. Oh. Dude, I'm crying. Yeah, I know, it's hilarious to you. Can we, like, dunk you in a something, some potpourri? That is the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not funny.
You see, I just give you the polar opposites. I give you some deep spiritual philosophy, and then I give you changing a nappy. Just to keep your mind flexible. So non-duality seems to get mixed with a lot of psychology nowadays. And I've started doing it as well, particularly the last couple of years. Because often I find when people come to me, they don't have non-duality questions. They want me to help fix their suffering in their day-to-day living. And actually non-duality isn't about that. It's different from other spiritualities that are about change your thought processes or improve your life or have a better outlook on life. I really appreciate all that stuff. I did a lot of that work, but it's actually different. Non-duality isn't talking about the person and improving the person's life. Non-duality is pointing to a freedom that's beyond the person. It's an energetic movement from being a person moving in time to nothing experiencing itself as everything, to not a thing experiencing itself as everything. And that sounds really odd. I mean, what does that mean? You have to kind of resonate with what I'm saying rather than try to understand it, because you can't understand it. But right now, there is nobody looking at me. There is nobody looking out of these bodies. There is an emptiness experiencing itself as form. Identification sucks in energy into the person and makes it feel like the person is who you are and the person is experiencing life. And this really creates suffering. Because there's such intense energy in being something that you're not, a limitation. And waking up is actually collapsing back into that void. And there's no longer somebody experiencing it. It's still looking through a human, and the human still has its behaviours and its ways of being, and it still behaves like a human, but that human in which other people might see isn't the experiencer anymore. Sorry, I'm just changing my sound. I realise I'm blowing your heads off with my voice. There we go. I can see the voice monitor on the side and it keeps going red. Red is bad. Not sure why I'm blowing your heads off. I'm doing the same as I always do, but my voice must be bigger today. So anyway, I can still see that I'm blowing your heads off. Okay. Let me turn it down a bit more. I have a very big voice today. There we go. That should be better. Now you're like, it's too quiet, Lisa. So right now, there is nobody looking at me. It's a mental construct which has become an energetic feeling that somebody is looking at you, that somebody is looking out, that somebody's having an experience. There is nobody having an experience now. Who is it that's looking out of the eyes? It's not the person. You are not something moving in time. There's been so much belief in this, that I'm someone moving in time, that I am my actions, I am my thoughts. That's not who you are. Right now, is that person looking out of the eyes? The mind says yes, but what's the actual experience? Is that person looking out? Is that person experiencing? And notice that that person is actually being experienced. It's not experiencing. Come on then. What a good girl. And this emptiness that's experiencing itself as form now never leaves. What leaves, what comes and goes, is everything about you. Your body comes and goes, your thoughts come and go, your ideas come and go, your feelings come and go. But this experiencing never comes and goes. So traditionally what they say in Advaita, and I quite like this, but eventually these two compress together and it is everywhere, is that there is this consciousness, this perception, that is the first thing that comes into existence. So first of all, there's nothing, then consciousness comes into existence, and then the body comes into existence, and I am comes into existence. And the I am and the consciousness are always there and present. And they are not a thing, but they are all things. All things appear in that consciousness and I am. And the I am is love, total and utter love. And the consciousness is emptiness. It holds on to nothing. It's totally free of everything. And eventually these two stop being separated out. I'm only separating it out because minds work like that. And it's easier for the mind to hear this. But ultimately, I'm not talking to the mind. I can't talk to the mind. But it's easier for the mind to digest this information. So you got the consciousness, the I am, that's looking through this body. And everything that is looked at is that consciousness and I am. The consciousness is the freedom in the sense that everything is accepted. There is nothing that's rejected by consciousness because consciousness is totally and utterly empty. It doesn't contain anything. And the I am is love. That also doesn't contain anything, but it's absolute love. It embraces everything. It forgives everything. This I am, this sense of being. And these two elements never change. They are always there. There is always this consciousness, this empty looking, and this sense of being, this sense of existence. And actually, when it's really seen, it begins to be seen that those two things are not separate from anything that's seen. Consciousness, or the empty perceiver, is in all things. In fact, there is no consciousness, there is no perception. There is only nothing appearing as everything. But if I just jump to that too quickly, then the mind begins to feel like it's failed, like it can't get it. And then it goes into a story of failure. I can't get this, it's too confusing. And what might be happening when I speak is there might be a love for what I'm saying and the excitement. And this is the I am coming forward again. It's the you construct dissolving to an extent. And as it dissolves, all that's left is everything. And then there's that love, because who you are, the I am, is love. What happens when the separate entity identifies is this energy goes into time. It makes it feel like this moment is always a result of the past. And that who you are now is something that arrives in time. So it always makes it feel like you are someone and you're kind of looking at yourself and you're always obsessed with yourself. And that self, that person that you take yourself to be, it kind of covers what is. It covers the I am and it covers the consciousness. And it begins to feel, or your love begins to be lost because your nature is loved. So it begins to, the separate entity that forms begins to feel like it's lost love. And it's not conscious of this, and then the great game of seeking begins. It begins, the person, to seek for that love in time. So the love is who you are. But when that person is focused on, it feels like you are contained, you're limited, and that love begins to be covered. So you seek, the separate person seeks in the only place it can, in objects, in time. And it begins to use the thinking process to look for its love. But the thinking process is about survival, about fixing problems. So the mind, the person, begins to get obsessed with fixing problems and completing stuff in time. And he begins to feel disappointed because no matter how hard it tries, it can never arrive. It can have great moments of highs, it can have great moments where it feels like it's found it, but then it loses it again. And so it gives the feeling over time like that you can't arrive at the place you're trying to arrive at. So your seeking can get even more intense. Or maybe then you begin to listen to non-duality. And the seeking projects onto every object it can. Is this my love? Is this my love? Is this my love? And it gets more and more heartbroken, because no thing can be your love. Your love is your essence. Your love is who you are. It's that those objects in time have reminded you of who you are. When you've been with those objects that you love, you forgot about yourself, you forgot about the timeline, you forgot about where you should be or want to be, and you dissolved into what's happening. They open your heart back to that I am, but then the mind thinks it's the object. But it's never the object. And that's beautiful, to have items in which you really love, items that give you more pleasure than others. I'm not suggesting that you become some blank canvas that doesn't love, but you will not find completion there. Completion is your nature. Well, you will find there is great pleasure, but pleasure comes and goes. Always. You can never hold on to something. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of all this creation, is that it never stays the same. It's always changing. But everything it changes into is itself. We believe in our mentality that we're moving through a separate world, and we're moving through a world that exists when we're not there. So we have this kind of mental image, but it's all mental images, that we're moving through this separate world and that we're going to different places in this world. But actually, there is only ever this moment, and the energy is changing in this stillness. So there's only ever stillness happening. So you're always in the same place, but in that the forms are changed, just like a kaleidoscope. And the mentality, the way the mind thinks, because it thinks in subject-object, it thinks, I went somewhere. But you've never been anywhere. You've never been anywhere. You've always been here. You cannot get away from yourself. It's always stillness experiencing itself as movement, no matter what forms take place. And science supports this. I don't really understand it in great detail, but this is what quantum physics says. That when we don't look at it, the world doesn't exist. But this is so much for our mind to comprehend, because our mind is set up in subject-object. In me moving through a world, rather than this stillness where things are coming and going. This is stillness. As you begin to see that who you are isn't a moving person, that you're not someone found in time, you're not your thoughts, you're not your ideas, you're not anything that manifests, you see that who is looking never moved. Who's actually experiencing never, ever, ever moved. You're always home. This is love. And this really isn't so much to do with the person. But all spiritualities get mixed together, and I love spirituality. Like, let's improve the human form. It's so beautiful, because the more we improve these human forms, the more it gets passed on generation after generation, because it's simply information moving on. But the changing of the human form isn't the same as non-duality. I mean, if you think about Nisargadatta Maharaj, who is apparently in my line of teachers. I don't really buy into all that stuff, but came from Ramesh and Roger, so he's Ramesh's teacher. So if you go to Nisargadatta Maharaj, I assure you, he never worked on his psychology. I'm really sure that he didn't work on his psychology or becoming a nicer person. Like, if you watch videos of him, there's not that very many videos. But he totally wasn't into that. I'm sure he wasn't understanding why he spoke to someone like this way or why he got angry, which apparently he got angry a lot. But yet there was still that deep realization there, that deep freedom. And he obsessively smoked cigarettes. But the person always has to imagine something it can do or be, otherwise it can't imagine anything. But it's not the person that wakes up. The person improves. Like in my story, in the Lisa story, when this realization happened, a lot of my conditioning softened. But I can still be an asshole. I can still also be very lovely. I can still be greedy. But your mind is so conditioned to think it's a person that gets enlightened. How can she be like that? It must change the person. But it's just you're mixing up the two things. This kind of changing and improving and growing and reconditioning the person isn't to do with non-duality. Often there has to be that first, because the person is so obsessed with itself and so trapped in its traumas and conditioning that it has to relax that to an extent, because otherwise there's just such an obsessive thinking about the pain and trying to get away from the pain. But it's not that person that wakes up, because who are you? Who are you? Who hears me speaking? Who looks at me now? That conditioning is looked at just like I'm looked at, just like the world is looked at. That conditioning of the person isn't an experiencer. It is an experience. And this is talking about a movement back to who you are. This stillness looking out. It's beautiful. I'll give you a heads up. If you want to believe that it's about the person becoming a particular way, you will be on this path forever. Because the person can always improve. Always. Endlessly evolve. Like, use your imagination. Your mind could always grow. Everything about you could evolve constantly. That's what this world is. Constant involvement. Growing and growing and growing and growing. And growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. Oh my goodness. It's amazing, this subject. I love non-duality. I love it. So I get so many people writing to me with psychological issues, and I'm so happy to help you with psychological issues. Like, I'm happy to have a go at it, but that's never going to end. That's never going to end. Your obsession with yourself is never going to end until it's seen that that's not who you are. And when I say psychological issues, I mean sort of this happening in your life or that happening in your life and experiencing pain then and here. That's what I mean by psychological issues. And this person did that to me. And I'm happy to go for it and have a bash at it and show you the seeking that goes on to get rid of that. But what's got to be realized is that that is not who you are. You are beyond that. And you can stay dancing in that world forever. Just like you could stay dancing in trying to achieve money forever. Although really our concepts are so limited, and the idea of forever and what that means is redundant. Redundant. Okay, we take some questions now. And notice how a lot of the questions are based on someone experiencing, which is totally okay, and somebody's experience. But just notice the obsession that you have with your experience and looking for the perfect experience. You won't find freedom there. Freedom is that's what's experiencing this. Who's experiencing this? Who? Who let the dogs out? It's so exciting, all of this. As soon as it begins to be seen that you aren't concept and that concepts aren't true, anything's possible. And you begin to remember the creative force of what you are, who you are, that you are the creator. You're not consciously creating, you're spontaneously creating, but that's who you are, that enormous creative energy. Okay, questions. Hey, Stello. Hey, Nudge. Oh, big love to you. Oh my goodness, look at him. He's so cute. Oh. He's a cutie. Conrad. Hi, Conrad. Nice to meet you. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Phyllis. Hi, Giancarlo. Hi, Raphael. Hi, New. Hi, Renee. Haha. Hi, Lisa. Do you have any insight on this? I'm discovering that all my desperate seeking for fulfillment and love in other people and situations all comes from a very, very steep sense of unworthiness. I feel that I just don't love myself and am missing of myself. It's confusing since I have experienced deeply that all the completion is already in me, though this sense is so strong, and it feels like I should do the loving myself, but don't know how. How can that be? Yeah. When the identification happened, you began to build the dream that you'd lost something, even though you weren't conscious of it. Who you are, that I am, is such total love. So you began to build a life, an assumption, a mental construct that you were something that lost love, and that you needed to find it. And that constant repeating of that story of trying to find love in the world grew the feeling of being unloved. All you need to remember is who you are. I am that I am. Actually, ultimately, you are nothing, but while you feel separate, you can notice that you are that empty perceiver and that I am. That I am is total love. It's not true anything your mind says. It's not true. So you can go into the feeling, you can feel the discomfort of feeling like you failed or that you're not loved or you're not good enough. But then also notice that there is an empty perceiver and there's this radical sense that you are, this is, I am. And you can also look up, like, you could look up some emotional healing stuff, some groups that practice self-love. You can understand it better. And notice how you've been trying to use non-duality to find the love in time. And you've been objectifying non-duality as that one day you'll get to non-duality and you'll find love. So notice what your mind's doing. And then when that begins to happen, when it's going into these thoughts and these feelings, just notice that there is a perceiver, there is perception of that, and there is this I am existence, which is love. And at the same time, that person that's doing that, see that that's not a separate entity. Hi, Anne. Hi, Ludmila. Hi, Lisa. Before your final collapse, did you ever thought, even after having all the glimpses, did you ever thought that non-duality is a big bullshit? Of course, many times. I wished I'd never got into it at points. All my friends were doing the regular things. And there I was contemplating my navel. So yeah, many times. Hi, Junatic. Oh, wow, what a name. Junatic. Oh, I don't know how to say that. Hi, Carmel. Hi, Cup Felix. Oh, I know, that's such a sweet picture, isn't it? I really like that one. It's really sweet. Lisa, lifeguard, guarding us all from the illusion. Hi, Matisse. Hey, Isabel. Love you, sweetie. Hi, Renee. Hi, Harley. Hi, Julio. Wow, that's a big question. I'm just going to go to the toilet before I answer that question. So I'll just put on a little video for you guys while I go to the toilet. That was perfect timing. I just finished, just as the video finished. Hi, Julio. Hi, Lisa, and thank you. My question is about the mirror effect of the mind. Can't avoid it. As one says, attempting to understand consciousness with your mind is like trying to illuminate the sun with a candle. Even though my mind many times goes into inspection mode and have I found the real me? Yes, wrong way to go. Sure, we all pretty much agree. This is just rational thinking concepts. So who is it that sees that, Julio? Who sees that? So this is mind that's contemplating who he is and looking at its time and trying to find itself in time. But right in this instant, that person, everything about that person is being seen. And the seer is totally invisible. The mental strong constructs cannot look at it, but the mental constructs are being looked at. The other way you can go when all of this happens is just go to the root of the feeling. So in that, when it's trying to find who it is, so notice that's being perceived, but notice that there's so much energy going into that because you feel unworthy and you're trying to find your worth. And you've realized it's not in the flow, so now you're trying to find it in who am I, but you're still trying to find it in yourself. But feel that, so feel that discomfort in the body and allow that discomfort to be there. That you failed, that you can't get it, that you can't see it. Just allow that to totally overtake and see that all of that's being experienced. And that there is that I am. It's appearing in the I am and the empty perception. Overgoing many changes, many stuff and questions. This is still from Julio. That a few months ago seemed relevant to me. Now I don't mind about them. Now I do perceive myself differently in a constant way, in a state of calm and quietness I've never experienced before, without effort or any kind of concentration involved. It just is. I feel free, happy, and even when pain and fear bumps in, they're also hugely amplified as it never happened, and I take them. Looks like I'm on board a submarine who is getting deeper and deeper in myself, and still the question pops up, could I have spotted the real me? I know I'm seeking an answer that likely no one can answer, but still love to hear you about it. Can the mirror effect ever be ended, or will it always be present as an unavoidable interference of the mind? End note. Meanwhile, I'm trying to leave it sitting on a corner when it emerges in my mind. Thanks. You, as a separate entity, can never see yourself. The separate entity, the thinking mind, is experienced. It can never look back at itself. Ever. It's always being looked at. During the awakening, it can feel like the thinking mind is looking back at itself, but it never really can. The thinking, the feelings, everything is being looked at. Nice. Thanks, Julio. Hi, Maria. Ash. Hi, Maria. I won't say your last name. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for satsang. So lovely and so helpful for us to bring us to our true self. I've noticed that the deeper I go into the moment, into my true self, living in myself, not in my person, I've noticed that my outside world has become very much smaller and people have fallen away. I know we're all one at a deep level, but it's hurtful as I love my brothers and sisters so much. Is this part of the process? Non-duality answers all questions, thank you. Cleared it up again. Everything starts with the absolute. This is the beginning point. Yeah, what begins to happen as the person begins to see itself differently, it will begin to relate to others differently. It will begin to become more honest and stop trying to buy into the illusion. So obviously people are going to fall away. So when you feel that and you feel sad about it, just acknowledge it and let those feelings be there of feeling sad about that. There's nothing to get away from. That's just what's happening. That's just as it is, and all of it's appearing in a freedom. It's present. But while you feel like that separate person, you can explore the feelings of feeling that loss, feeling that sadness, and let that be there rather than seeking to try and avoid it and denying to yourself that you feel it. So just become more and more honest as the person, and at the same time seeing that that person is being experienced and that you are. This is. You are. This is it. This, what is. We're so lost in what isn't. Hello, lovely one. Hello, open eye hun. Formerly I asked you about death already, but that time you gave me your repeated template answer like this. I think it's rebirth and not reincarnation. And I hope you know what it means and why it's important enough to be repeated. But now I would like you to understand and answer every aspect of my question. Let's talk about death, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Osho, Papaji, Mooji, Gangaji are talking about reincarnation always. Even if we make them facing to their thoughts about non-existence of the soul, they still insist on reincarnation, and maybe you will not be surprised when I say that I do not really want to come to a world like this again. You can't come to this world again because you don't exist, Open Eye Han. Who are you? Who are you? You don't exist. What would come to this world again? A finger? A nose? What are you? A thought? A feeling? A memory? None of that is who you are. All of that is floating forms coming and going. Who would be reborn? This is the important part. This is why I say rebirth over reincarnation. Because who is it that gets reborn? There is no one that gets reborn. Rebirth happens, but there's no one that gets reborn. You from this life do not get reborn. That you believe yourself to be cannot be reborn because it never existed. If you stop thinking now, who would you be? If I gave you the ability to stop thinking, you couldn't think about anything, who would you be? There would just be this alive presence looking out totally innocently. That's who you are. That is not conditioned. That has no memory, has no idea about itself. This is who you are. You're so desperately trying to escape discomfort, Open Eye Han. I'm sorry to be so harsh with you. You are not victim to this world because you are the creator of this world. Everything is spontaneously appearing from who you are as presence. Everything is that presence. You are not this person that moves in time, this person that likes chocolate or dislikes bananas, or has been hurt. That person doesn't exist. That person is experienced like a cloud is experienced. You don't think a cloud is permanent. You see that the cloud is forever changing shape. That's exactly what the illusory you is like. There is no solid you. There is a body-mind mechanism that's being updated and changing constantly, but that doesn't equal you. It's being experienced. Just like the sunlight's being experienced, just like the sounds are being experienced. You are not victim. You cannot be victim because you're the creator. Not the creator on the ego level. Not the creator as in, I am the creator. I am Superman. You as presence that's instantly, spontaneously creating everything. You speak to me like you're a victim. So feel that victimhood. You're victim to me because of what I say. On the form level, just feel that victimhood. Feel that sense of not wanting to experience this. Just let it be present. Let that discomfort and disharmony exist in this. And then you'll begin to see who you are, that you're not any of that. The more that the you stops resisting what's happening, it will become clear that who you are is presence. Is this alive presence that's beaming, that's never been affected, that loves endlessly. On the other side, you, the other Lisa, Spira, do not like to talk about reincarnation or even about death so much, like it would not be so important. It seems like the previous group of speakers would be able to speak about the things after the death of the body, but your group cannot. Oh, who cares? He says this, you say that, she says this. He says that, she says this. Ba, ba, ba. Who's experiencing all those thoughts? Who? Who? Who let the dogs out? Who? Who? Who's liking me or disliking me now? Who's looking at me? Who's hearing my voice? Not you. Not the you that you believe yourself to be. There is no you.
Bow.
But why do speakers talk about death so differently? Feel it, open eye Han. Feel it, all this contradiction in your body and the fear of death, the fear of being reborn. Feel it. Just let it be there. Who's experiencing all of that? That is an experience. You are an experience. Does the previous group speak only presumptions about death, or does your group not experience things what the others do? Can any liberated speaker say any real thing about death at all? There is no death. How can non-existence exist? There is no death. There can only ever be existence. Non-existence doesn't exist, so it will never be non-existence. Your mind thinks in opposites, so it thinks in life and death, but there is no life and death. Scientists can't even find what death is. When they look at cells of the body, they can't even find what death is. There is no border of death. We can say the lungs stop breathing, the heart stops beating, but then they can't find death beyond that. The cells then are beginning to transform into something else. We're so limited in the way we think. Our thinking was devised in order to survive, and then we think we can speak about and think about the nature of reality and life and death. How can there be non-existence? Think about it. Non-existence doesn't exist. So how can there be non-existence? There can only ever be existence. Who let the dogs out? And if we instantly be fully enlightened after death of the body, then why did I come back to surface of this earth last time? How did the ancients happen? Who did think it would be good? So what can you say about death, lovely thing? Can you say anything reasonable? What is death? What would be my liberation break? An endless chain of lives, or just the suffering of this life to me? What could be solved by my death too? There is no you. You don't exist. That's the illusion. Who is this you? This chain of thoughts. The one that's saying, I'm in here, I'm moving attention. This thought, I like this, I don't like this, why is this happening, why is the death? All of that is being experienced. None of that is an experiencer. You do not exist. You've never existed. You cannot be reborn. But yet, there is always this presence, right here, right now, in this instant. This instant is your home. Of course it's your home. It's in the middle of everything. It's what always is. Thanks, Open Eye Hung. Hi, Martin. Hi, Lisa. I just take a break from speaking for a moment. I've tried out Osho's active meditations lately, and it seems to do wonders. Identification with body-mind mechanism rarely happens, and when it does, it only happens for a short while. Just a question. I'm not saying I'm right or anything, but how do you know that it only happens for a short while and that the identification's gone? Who is it that would know that? Who is it that's interested in all of that world? And why is it telling itself that story? Life is just happening. Just happening. It feels like the awakening is starting to sink down into the body. I can't really explain it. What role has the body played during your awakening? Also, oh my God, I'm contracting again. What role has the body played during your awakening? Well, the thing about the body is this is the way life is being experienced through the senses. So life is experiencing itself through what's being sensed, through the feeling of the floor, through the sight, through the hearing. So really all there is sensation, and everything that appears is sensation and is being interpreted by these particular brains. So the body is so important because the body is the instrument that this life is being interpreted through. The feeling of the cup on the hand. This is where you are as consciousness. The sight of the camera, sight of me, the sound of me. This is where you are. It's the mind that thinks I'm inside the body listening to Lisa. I'm inside the body feeling a cup. The cup is you. The sound of my voice is you as consciousness, as the empty perceiver. Oh my God, I'm contracting again. How do you know that? Who is this person that's so interested in this? This person has no relevance. It thinks that it knows something, but it doesn't. All that's known is what's happening. And off it goes, the mind liking to talk away. When Lisa reads this message, how will she see this imaginary self? It seems like I tend to fall into a role that wants to be good at performing things and being smart. Maybe I just tell myself that I'm incapable. Sure. Yeah. It does that. So there it is, the pain of feeling like I will like you or I don't like you or whatever it is. And it really doesn't matter, because everything I say, everything I do is you. You are the creator. You are everything. Who hears these voice now isn't the person that feels like it's good enough or not good enough. Thanks, Martin. Carlos. Hi, Carlos. Hi, can I write now? Yes, you can write now. You can write. You can wrong. Da ba da, ya da da da, ya da da, ya da ba ba. So Carlos, I'm looking at this emoticon you sent me, and the emoticon is this is funny. Yeah, I just want to repetitively do that now. Okay, scroll down, don't look at the emoticon. I can't. Okay. I'm getting stuck. Okay, you've got to read the message without seeing the emoticon. I'm the biggest emoticon sender, so I'm not complaining. I send so many emoticons. But I'm just getting stuck in that movement. Hi Lisa, can I write? Yes. One of my main doubts is, how can we be sure that the self exists? Can be just one more belief. Even the same self can be a mental projection. How can we ensure that there is consciousness and intelligence behind all the apparent world? Is it not possible that there is only the material world and nothing else? You just have to keep looking, like not looking as you looking, but keep seeing that who you are isn't the person. So what's left if you're not the person? Then it will be revealed. You won't find it in mentality. In mentality, you'll believe it and then you'll doubt it. You'll get it and then you'll lose it. Who is it that experiences that person that's asking that question? And then while you're seeking that question, just go down to the feelings that you feel abandoned, really. That question's about abandonment. How can I be sure that mother loves me? That mother exists? It's just a mental construct that you've learned. How can I be sure that that love is there? So just feel that, like in its nakedness. You're wanting to have safety. You're wanting to have a guarantee. Just allow that to be there. That's okay to feel that. And then see that that person is being experienced. While you don't acknowledge those feelings underneath, then you stay in the mental activity that's trying to avoid those feelings. And then you stay seeking in time. Time, time, time. Everything you share is wonderful. If you need some music, I am at your disposal without any cost. I am a musician and a composer. Thank you. Well, thanks, Carlos. That's a nice offer. Thank you. Hi, Steve. Hi, Renate. So here is another post from the UK. Maybe you know who was leaving and telling stuff like that. Lisa is like a nothing zombie to look at in vids. I met someone this weekend who was at her retreat last week and left because of it all. And Lisa is like a zombie in the vids. I don't know. He says all this stuff, but you're going to get it. You're going to get some people that like you and some people that don't like you. It's part of putting yourself out there. But they're the ones that are spreading the rumours about the other stuff. I see that. I just can't imagine the people that left doing that. There were 2 people that left. I can't imagine them spreading rumours about what we said last time. Maybe. You never know what is going on in people's projections. One thing that I do notice is that I attract extremes. I don't know if it's the same for other speakers. I can imagine it is. I can imagine there's people that really love and really hate Muji as well. Or other speakers. But I also think that when people come to non-duality, they've often got themselves into a bit of a negative cycle. So they're often experiencing a lot of suffering. And then when they come to non-duality, they're looking to non-duality to escape that suffering and to fix their life. And they've built up lots of bizarre thinking, because by the time they got to that point where life isn't working, they've often got themselves into quite a negative place. And so their mind is in extremes, like their mind is in loving and hating. And so when you are a non-duality speaker, you're already attracting people that have kind of felt like they can't make it in life after investing loads in life. And so there's a lot of emotional discomfort. And so it's easy for their mind to go into either loving stories of how wonderful they are, or really hating stories of how awful this person is. And when that hate comes up towards someone, like to the person, so the person on my retreat that I obviously offended in some way, like my words or what I was expressing or doing or not doing, they found really offensive. It's nothing to do with me. It's that they're sitting there and I represent in that moment a condition which has hurt them. And I think from us speaking, Renate, it was around sex stuff. So they were offended around some sexual stuff that I did or didn't do. And of course I'm going to represent that to a lot of people, because look at the way this body looks, especially when it's in camera. I think in real life it's not as attractive as it is in the camera, you know, with the light, and you get to see this little head. But so I represent this side. And I openly admit that I don't believe in monogamy, which is really offensive to people, that I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that concept. So people instantly think when you're saying that it means that you believe in all these other things, but it's just that I don't believe in the concept of monogamy. I believe that you should do what you feel like doing in the moment. And so obviously by me saying this has really offended someone. And they've taken it on board that I'm some ditz or some bimbo that's just vacant and empty, which I am actually vacant and empty, but I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it as there's nothing looking here. There is just life happening. And that's okay to offend people's ideas. But what happens is that they're not seeing that that's just their conditioning coming up against me. That their conditioning is coming up that I'm a woman that's predatory or doing something against them, or they feel jealous, or they feel in competition suddenly, and they're totally not aware of that. So their projection just goes out. She is wrong, she's vacant, she's empty, she's a sex guru. That's what Renate was telling me. They were telling people that I was teaching open sex to everybody, which that's an interpretation you can have when you say you don't believe in monogamy. And that's what's happening all the time with everyone, that they're having these, so we're all conditioned in a certain way, and then we have these responses to situations. And when you're totally identified, you just believe that the brain's responses to those situations are true. But of course they're not true. They're just conditioned responses. And all of us have them. I have a conditioned response when I see tea, that my pleasure is activated. But to them, they believe it's really true. And also I play a role for an intense role for men as a female speaker. Because I'm going against a lot of things. And so the man's conditioning can be very complicated, the response, what happens in the man's conditioning of this mother role, of this intelligent woman, of quite a free-spirited woman, of sexual, non-sexual. And so all these conditioned responses come up. And when it's too much, the mind just goes, I hate her. She is bad. She is wrong. She is a monster. Or it can go the other way. She's wonderful. I love her. She's amazing. I dare them to see me who I truly am, which is nothing. But we shall work out who is spreading the rumours that I am a sex guru. It's fantastic for business. My retreats are just going to be absolutely sold out now. But then when the participants come, they might be a little bit disappointed when I'm just speaking about non-duality. Thanks, Renate. Hey, Julie. Hey, Julia. I couldn't think of any question for you at all, but I just realised that you being so harsh and energetic about what we are not was all I needed for today. Thank you. Love, Stello. Hi, Lisa. Changed name. Yon. Hey, Yon. Discovering you has been the most beautiful finding. It's so powerful when I watch your videos, in the bus while I cook for my children, between my patients. The stop inside is total, the resonance and the full silence and love. It doesn't matter what you're talking about, it's your silence, your roaring silence that makes my silence so loud. Oh, that's so beautiful, John. That's really what I'm teaching. All these words. That's what I'm teaching. Oh, thanks for that. The silence and nothing is watching. Beautiful, Jean. Don't know if my question will make sense here, but here it is. With a regular person, with me, you can see there is a center, and you can see that they look at you from that center. With you and other people, collapsed me. You can see there is no center, and you looking at the computer screen, I sense no center in that body looking at me. Does the vision from Lisa's body goes everywhere and the eyes are seeing everything, or do they have focus on that person they are looking at? Thanks. It's like the energy, so seeing, the physical seeing, sees what it sees. It looks from this position, but the energy of the seer, the big seer, not the functioning of seeing, is endless. It's like this body is a small vessel in an infinite space. But it needs this body to experience itself. Hi, Mark. I was so disappointed that you slept outside Stan's house in a tent. Oh. Question. So all philosophy is just a waste of time, basically. Philosophy is important to loosen up the mind enough to hear who you are is nothing to do with what's happening. Why were you disappointed that I slept outside Stan's house in a tent? That's funny. That was dramatic music just to cover you peeing and farting sounds. I don't really know what music was. I couldn't remember what was on there. Hi, Lisa. Wow, there's loads of questions again. Hi, Lisa, new sex guru, ha ha ha. And you spanking too, I read. And you like spanking too, I read. Oh, really? I like spanking now, do I? Well, I'm the spanker, or I like to be spanked. Wow, I really upset this person, eh? Oh my goodness. Hi Lisa, thanks for your speeches. I love hearing you talking. I feel freedom every time. Do you still have some fear of death of your body? Or fear of physical pain? The human does, yeah. So the human doesn't like to be chased by a snake, or this really funny thing happened today. So me and Khaleesi, the town that I live in it's like got a really narrow pathways through the town. And we kind of turned a corner, and because Khaleesi in the town, she wears her muzzle, she maybe looks a little scary to people. And we turned this corner, and this guy saw her, and he jumped. And instantly it made me and Khaleesi jump. So it was really funny. It was like the domino effect. It happened so quickly, and all of us like pinned ourselves against the wall, like, oh! It was very funny. So the body has fear, but who I am has no fear. Who's talking to you now, like who's looking at you and hearing you now, not that I'm looking at you because I can't see you, but that one that's looking out has no fear. But the person, the character, has fear. I know that sounds really confusing because you look at me as if I'm the character, whereas here the character is an experience. Do you still have, yeah, I can read your questions, Dominique, but there's so many people asking questions. I don't know how many people are online. That that's not so many. It's only 119. But there's still lots of questions. Hi Klaus. How can I drop the belief I am a body, I am a mind? Seems to believe it out of habit, and then I have to point myself back constantly. With love, Klaus. Yeah. It's not really you pointing yourself back, because you don't exist. All of that's happening in the dream. So that one that's contemplating this subject and believing it's got to believe or not believe is all being experienced by a boundless freedom that's always present. Really, you've never lost yourself. It's only an idea that you've lost yourself. But while you're feeling like that and while you feel separate, then you can just acknowledge what you feel. Acknowledge that you feel confused or you feel disappointed or disempowered. And then simultaneously remember that you are this boundless freedom that's experiencing itself as a person that feels like it can't get there. Hi Lugm. Lugm. Hey Lou. You are a GM, Lou. It's surely a lie about what you just said of people leaving a retreat because of zombie problems. Yeah, and there wasn't anyone that was English that left my retreat, so I think it's just someone that's spreading gossip to try and damage me. But the funny thing is the more that they spread gossip about the sex stuff, the more popular they actually make me. So it kind of makes me laugh. That I like spanking. I'm going to have loads of people then lining up wanting a spanking. Be sold out the next retreat now. One more. What is the difference between sexual energy and love? True love is not a form. Sexual energy is a form. But it's a very beautiful expression in form. And it sort of takes you back right to creation in a way. It's like that sexual energy is the beginning of creation, but it's still in form. Love is not a form. It's still something you experience. True love is not found. It is everything and nothing. Hey Ramona. Hey Lisa, beautiful beginning film. And the pamper changing dude is a pussy. Oh, are you teaching open sex now? Ha ha ha. Burn that free-spirited woman who is teaching the open sex teaching. Anyway, here's a lot of pressure on the head, solar plexus still, which was main spot before, chest and heart, as it weight placed on, pressure, stomach, tired, and as if this body is boiling. Pain goes easily to the head and trying to solve myself out of pain, going in head, seeking, then feeling body pain, and sometimes somehow there's no I anymore. P.S. You're right about the hair test, by the way. I was losing a lot of hair and it got straight. I read about stress and hair, and I'm taking some vitamins and spirulina since a month and got energy and curls back. Thanks. Oh, cool. Yeah. And just remember, Ramona, that who you are is present. So all of this is happening in the body, and who you are has never been affected by that. That's not you, the one that's got the chest or the pain. You are love. But good on you for letting all that happen. For being so courageous and letting all those sensations come up. Trust yourself. Know that your heart wants home. And so that's its journey. Hey, Hannah P. I like that, Hannah P. Hannah P. Hi, Lisa. Can you talk about experiences and desire? I had some expectations about how my life should go, and there is desire to achieve something. I see that this is an illusion, but it's still here. The desire to achieve something isn't necessarily a problem. It's just the belief that you will finally arrive and complete yourself by that achievement. You'll never end to achievement. You'll clean the house, it will get dirty again. You'll make money, you'll lose money. You'll find a lover and have great, immense love affair, and then this will go. You will change. So everything that you achieve will leave. You're never going to arrive at this finish point. And that's the way our education system educates us, that one day we're going to arrive. And it's our job to arrive and to be successful. But you're never going to find that, because end doesn't exist in this world. Watch it. Watch nature. See that there's never an end. Never. There's never a finish point. So your mentality is that you'll achieve and that you'll one day arrive. And so therefore you're achieving stuff and you're creating stuff on the idea of arriving rather than enjoying creating for what it is. Creativity is our nature. To do things is our nature. To create is our nature. That's what we are as humans. We create. We're creative. Look what we do. It's amazing. But most of us are living for the arrival. We're creating. We're doing things we don't like doing because we're waiting to arrive, and we never will arrive. Because what would be the destination? What would be the finish point? How can there ever be a finish point? Freedom is when you realize that who you are isn't a thing. There is no thing looking out now. There is not somebody that's looking out. The somebody is being experienced, and that somebody will never find what it's looking for in its achievements. But that doesn't mean don't create. People use this message, I've noticed, and listen to this message in order to stay in disempowerment, because they feel confused and lost. And they use it to stay in those feelings. Your nature is to create. Your nature is to do. As a human. But the nature, the experiencer, is beingness. Is doing it for doing it, not doing it to arrive. You're never going to arrive. You are it. Thanks, Hannah P. I like saying your name. Conrad. Hello, Conrad. Wronski. I like that. I love your talks and when you are in silence. Yeah, a lot of people say that to me. They like it when I shut my mouth. I'm always in silence, speaking or not speaking. Hear me, and then you'll know who you are. I almost didn't get any sleep in one night at the retreat because my mind was imagining all kinds of romantic and sexual scenarios with Mark and Lisa. While I lay awake in Stan's house, I totally lost 3 or 4 hours of time in that night. I was shocked when the clock suddenly said 5 a.m. I felt like I was super tired the next day. Do you know The Secret Life of Walter Mitty? The Mark robot is quite like that. He imagines his life rather than really taking part in life. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine it's quite intense having a speaker that you're attracted to that also has a fairly attractive physical form. I remember doing it with all my teachers when I was at university. In fact, they could be really not very attractive and I still wanted to sleep with them. Don't think I did though. Did I sleep with any of my university teachers? No. But I imagined it, I think, many times. So maybe that does mean sleeping with them. Yeah. When I was younger, I had this ability to imagine things so strongly that I actually became that which I was seeking, that love which I was seeking. I would imagine the lover or the perfect lover so strongly that I would just disappear into that love that I imagined would happen between us. Beautiful. I think you guys do very well. Yeah. Because the subject, what it's doing is it's reminding you of your own love. And in that remembering, there can be so much sexual energy that arises, and then I'm the one speaking about it, so it's getting so confused. I'm reminding you of your own divinity, your own love, and then the mind wants to act that out in the physical form, which is making love. So it's very confusing. So thanks most of you guys for being so mature and able to handle it and not like treat me like I'm some form of sinner because you feel attracted to me. There's a few guys, but most of you don't. Most of you are so mature and cool about it. So thank you. Feel lots of love. Hey Lisa, before your final collapse. Oh yeah. Yeah, that person that you upset was expecting a guru and he got nothing. I'm not sure. I think that person wasn't on my retreat because the people that left, I just didn't get that energy from them. And they were women as well. Oh no, there was one guy. He was French. If God thinks only through humans, am I subject to the will of most common beliefs in people around me? Yes, but that's not who you are. This is remembering that you are beyond that. And that's okay. The common belief of humans. When you begin to see oneness, it's all forgiven. You see they were yourself anyway. Speaking is happening. Looking is happening. Feeling is happening. And who experiences that? Okay, guys, that's enough for tonight. I love you very much. Thank you.